Well, hello everyone and welcome. Today, CPA Connects Intermediate PC Laptop Week 7. We are recording, as Carolyn just mentioned. I hope everybody's had a good week. We're gonna today go over Google Maps as our main activity. Carolyn, is there anyone else to let in or?
Here comes Mary. I'll keep an eye on the waiting room, but I think the main crowd is here.
All right, great. We're small but mighty. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I was looking up about the changing the background art when you were talking about that, and I've done it before, but I couldn't seem to find it just now. So I was looking up instructions. Anyway. So getting places online, very useful tool. Sometimes I just get, I was born in 71, and as many of you do, sure, as well, I'm sure, remember the card catalog at the library and just what we used to have to go through to get information. The Rand McNally spiral bound map in the car and all those things. And now we can just find it at the edge of our fingertips. And I think one of the most well-known ways to find out where you're trying to go is through Google Maps. We've kind of focused on Google products throughout these sessions, just because they're free and available to everyone. So, but yeah, you can just put in an exact address, or you can put in an intersection in Google Maps, and it'll pull a map up right at that very place. You can get directions by car, going on public transit, walking, cycling, even flights. You can look up by types of business, like sort of, you could just type in restaurants near me in the search bar if you open up maps, and it'll pop up with all the restaurants that are near to that location. Or you could put in an address and look for restaurants there too. Parks are notated on Google Maps by a sort of like a green space background. You can save your favorite locations or places that you go to frequently. It may not be your favorite, but maybe you go there a lot for whatever reason. But yeah, really a very handy tool that has a lot of little perks. We'll be looking deeper into that for our activity today. You can preset your work and home location in Maps, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. It's very simple and it's easy to change too if you have a change. But here's some written directions, and so you'll have that with the slide presentation. Another way to kind of go around that, if you will, is by taking a virtual tour. These exist for so many different places, but people have made sort of videos of, spotlight destinations. They're often used to showcase many of the different examples that I've listed here: real estate properties that are available, historic sites, travel destinations, and there's a whole set of virtual walks that have been developed that you can use perhaps while you're on a treadmill to kind of give a sense of a little more than just the wall in front of you. And also, if you, for some whatever reason, can't physically go somewhere, you can take one of these virtual walks and kind of see the sights of an area. I found a really nice website that had these trip planning apps and then broke down like which one is best for what, as it's listed here. And I'm going to pop that link in the chat after I come out of the presentation. But yeah, there's so many different apps that you can use to kind of aid yourself to plan for a trip. And these all, you know, list out, for example, that Road Trippers one, if you want to take a car or an RV trip as opposed to flying somewhere. So it's specifically geared towards someone who's you know, taking a road trip. This Avoiding Hidden Fees Sky Scanner app. They all have sort of different ways that they're coming at your trip. So you might want to, you know, get a couple of them. That Packing Pro I thought was interesting. It has that's for the Remembering the Essentials. And you can put into the app like what kind of trip you're taking, how long you're going to be gone, you know, certainly where you're going. And it has like, it pre-populates a list of things that, you know, you would be likely to want to go to such a place. Like maybe if you're going to the desert, or if you're going to a jungle, or if you're going to a tropical island, right? You'd probably need some different types of gear for those different locations. So it has these sort of like preset lists. And then you can, of course, plug in your own things and then have, you know, a list to check off right in an app. So these were all some kind of cool little, and like I said, I'll pop the link in the chat. Short presentation for slides, because I know we tend to spend time on our activity. Let me get this link for you. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share or ask at this point? Art.
I don't want to, anybody else want to have a question? You know, I used to use, or still do use, MapQuest, which I think probably came out before Google. It's with Google Maps anyway. Are you familiar with that at all? Or?
I am. And it's a very similar service to Google Maps.
Okay.
And you can get, you know, those specific instructions. And I'll show you that once I screen share. But yeah, MapQuest was the original.
I guess if you're using Google things, you probably should stick with them. They do an excellent job, and there's probably some consistency in using them from one type of a project or another, as opposed to going in and out.
I think the thing for me is like that it, you know, it stores your data across applications. So some people don't like that. I find it to be handy, but yeah, that's, and because it's free and can be accessed from anywhere.
You know, I read that somewhere in terms of security, that isn't good. If you get hacked, a hacker can figure out where you might be or what you might be doing. It just gives more information, personal life information about you that might not be available if you use, you know, 6 different websites to do things as opposed to one that's connected. But I guess that's just personal choice.
Well, it's certainly something to think about. And if, you know, if someone is concerned about these issues, as Art says, you may want to use a different application to kind of break it up a little bit. Ms. Rothman, I see you had your hand up.
Yes, I just wanted to address the MapQuest. I used to use that a lot in my working life as a librarian and print off, and I found it easy to use, the interface easy to use. And then I would always be printing off directions to hand somebody who was asking the question for directions. So that was my go-to. I still occasionally use it if I want to plot out something, because I, moved back here and then I had to kind of learn my way around a little bit, or, places I'd never gone to. And so every now and then I will still do this actually on my Chromebook. But I found that they've changed that whole interface. It's not nearly as simple or clean as it used to be. So I'm disappointed with the interface. I did still use it because one of my foibles or faults is that I'm a road chicken and I hate 271, which is where I am. I'm in Lyndhurst. I don't like the highways. So I'm usually trying to avoid highways. I want to drive, but avoid highways. And it seemed like I had a much easier time finding that app, or that choice on MapQuest than I did on Google Maps. So maybe we can, besides the bicycle, walk, public transportation thing, maybe we can also look at the different choices for driving, which is probably what most of us would be using most of the time. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that to Art, that if you do try MapQuest, I think you'll find that the interface has changed since back in the day.
Thank you, Ms. Rothman, excuse me. I have found that, to me, I prefer Google Maps also for ease of use from MapQuest. Another sort of device that so many people have, it was kind of like before everyone sort of had a smartphone, was that it's called a Garmin, and it's a little device that goes in your car that had maps. You had to kind of re-download maps with Garmin. So the Google is pretty immediate and pretty more recent. It's more like constantly updated. I think they do theirs like every 6 months, I want to say. Don't quote me on that one. Art?
Well, Garmin depend. I don't know how old my Garmin is. Ancient. It works well though, because it gives you the local speed limits as an example. That I'm not sure if MapQuest or if Google Maps does that, but it's kind of nice to know that you're driving the legal limit. Sometimes you get on the freeway and the speed limits change.
That's a really nice feature. I wasn't aware of that, actually. I've never seen that on Google Maps.
Yeah. The only problem with it is you can't get over comfortable with it because it doesn't know about short-term speed limit changes because of construction. So you could be entering a 40-mile-an-hour zone, but the Garmin thinks that it's still 65 or something like that. So you have to keep your eyes on the road. You can't rely on it 100%. But it is a nice feature. It has a number of other ones too, where it gives you like it analyzes how you're doing. If you're driving too fast, it'll tell you you're driving inefficiently. If you're driving just right, it'll give you 100% or something. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've been on the road since COVID, but it's nice and it's been paid for. So I do use it. It talks to you consistently. The problem I have with Google, and you might address this, you may have had some experience with it. Sometimes I'll turn on Google and it'll start out talking to me. All of a sudden it goes away. And it may have something to do with Bluetooth. I'm not sure. But I do have a problem with that now and then.
I have not personally experienced that one, but I believe you. I have, I'll say this, take it with a grain of salt because you've always got to account for operator error. But I definitely have felt like Google has given me different directions to the same place or told me something different. And then I always wonder like, did I put something in wrong? Or like, was it me or was it Google? So
Well, I think Google as well as MapQuest, they used to give you like different routes.
sure.
And they'll tell you the time changes or differences.
Well, I guess I would say like what I've experienced that with bus routes. Like it'll tell me one thing and then, tell me something different. And it'll be like, well, same place, same time. Why is but whatever. Yeah, I always have to wonder, was it me or was it Google? It doesn't happen all the time. Now you guys are gonna think, why are we even looking at this thing?
It's good. It's good. No, it's a very good product.
All right, I am going to screen share again in Google Maps, and we're going to just kind of walk through a little bit to see what's available. So I live in Euclid, and this is this is a map of the area of where I live, because Google Maps will orient itself, to where you are. If I was at the South Euclid Community Center today, the map that would open up when I first opened Google Maps would be of that area of South Euclid. But right now I'm here in Euclid. And if I put in a different address, then it would show me that as well. But so right up here in the upper left-hand corner where it says search Google Maps, and it's kind of like grayed out, that's where you would type either your address or the intersection that you want to go to. And you can, the quickest way that I've found to do that sort of intersection is to use the ampersand. So I'll just put in Lakeshore and Lloyd. And you'll see it auto populates, and it gives me a couple options here. I want to stay in Euclid today, but if perhaps I wanted to go to South Carolina, could find that out as well. But so that just takes me to that intersection. And I found ampersand, the ampersand character, to be the best way to get that information of an intersection personally. So we'll just take that out, and it still stays where I left it, but it took away the designation mark. So remember, our overflow menu is where we're going to find out more information of things that we can find on this app. I'll also point out that there's sort of these quick searches down here. I could find grocery stores, restaurants, takeout, and hotels near me. You'll generally see that as a quick pull up. And then, of course, right now, everything with COVID. But when we go into the overflow menu, here's where we can find some more interesting options on Google Maps. And Google Maps has some kind of cool features. It will show sort of different layouts for the map itself. You can get a satellite image. And so it literally is showing you. And like looks like I dropped off there. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Oops. How long was I gone? Where was I at?
Satellite map.
Okay. Wow. I'm just talking over here. I didn't even realize. Let me come back to you. The joys of doing everything online, huh? All right. So yeah, the last thing I had clicked, I was just at the next place, terrain. And so that kind of map shows you if there's any sort of elevation in the area. Something else that I want to share with you that's part of the control is over here in the right-hand corner. You have that deepening in, so more detail on the map, and then your minus takes you further out, gives you a little bit more of the area. Come back over here. So these, I'm not going to worry about globe right now, but traffic is kind of a cool feature because this is giving you a little bit of a live traffic readout and showing you by color designation what the streets are looking like. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Over here, it's looking pretty good right now. We're on green, but might be some little holdups here on these red spots. But that's supposedly, you know, pretty accurate to the moment information about what the traffic looks like. Kind of a cool feature. This is Street View. So it's just giving you a different sort of layout. And oh, it wants to like find these locations that my cursor is going to. But it's showing you terrain in this as well, because I have that turned on. I could, you know, turn it off. And then I don't know if you noticed, there were like showed some little elevation here along the coastline, and that went away. Kind of a cool feature on the cycling map. Oh, wait here. Turn off Street View. Come back to regular. So this is a cycling map. And as you can see, designated down here, it shows bicycle-friendly streets, unpaved trails, where there's dedicated bike lanes and where there are trails. And so over here by me, I've got a lot of these bike-friendly roads. You can see Lakeshore is one. But those, if you are interested in sort of figuring out, you know, a cycling trip, kind of a cool. So when I click on it again, that takes it away and just takes me back to regular old Street View. So one of the main things that I wanted to share with you and to practice with today is under your places. So again, I'm going into the overflow menu and scrolling down to your places. And you can do a preset of your home and your work. I took out my home address because I wanted to show you what it would look like if you didn't have it set up. So I want to set it, and then it knows because I'm logged into my own account. So this is my home address, but I could just, you know, type in whatever here, but this is my home, and then I'll put save. And then if I wanted to change my address, I just simply hit that X, takes it away, click on it, and then I can enter whatever I want. But we're going to come back to the South Euclid Community Center.
Rebecca,
Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna say, if you wanted to use Lyndhurst Community Center as like a mock address, you could do that too. I can give you the address if you want.
I think that it's gonna populate and I can, cause I go there, that's in my other place. It's like in a frequent place. But let's see, as
Yeah,
soon as I type
Parkview
in
Drive.
LY, then because I go there and I put that search in, Google remembers. And so it auto populates. And then, so you can also, so those are those like two major presets, home and work. But
Rebecca?
you can have saved places, favorites, places you want to go, starred places. You could have a list of visited places, and you could also have a list of maps. So something else.
Rebecca,
Yes, sir.
one of the things that I think you could do it with Google Maps, if you put it on Street View in Zoom, you could actually zoom in and see the building that you might be going to,
Yes, you can.
which I think is really cool. Sometimes you get into an area, you have trouble finding the address, and if you have the address of the building that you're looking for in Zoom, it'll take you right to the building, which I think is a kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
As an example, if you put your home being the Empire State Building, and you wanted to zoom into that, you get a good shot of the Empire State Building, I would imagine. I don't know for sure, but it'd be kind of cool to try.
Let's find out what happens. Just click over here.
The airplane at 90, 80.
I'm going to let's put in the Empire State Building. I was looking at that earlier for something else, but here you see, once we type it in, we get a little list here of relevant information, and I can get directions from here to there. And if we do that, I can choose if I want to go by car or if I want to go by transit. Oh, I got to choose my starting location. Start there. So if I wanted to go by transit, here I could take the Greyhound.
15 hours.
I could walk.
You're 54 hours.
I'd be feeling very ambitious that day. I could ride a bike. So those are all those little icons that will tell you all the directions. And then you would just click on the way you want to go. If I want to take Route 17, here's my readout of how I would do that on my
Big
bicycle.
road.
Rebecca, why don't you see if you can click, see that you're avoiding, I don't care, highways, toll roads. Look at the options for how you want to drive. Say you only want to take back roads, or
so this so when I click on car, it's giving me one via I-80 or 76.
You have to click on options right there. There you go.
Oh, thank you. You know what? I wasn't
Yep.
aware of this. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Avoid highways. So now it's sending me on 6. Wonderful. Great. So that's under options.
And I don't know if you mentioned this or not. If you did, I'm sorry to repeat.
Fine.
But where it says, in the directions part, there's an option leave now, or you can choose. Yeah, just just pick a start point. Okay, you see where it says leave now?
Yes. Thank
You
you for pointing that out, Carolyn. So
Yeah,
you
because
can
I use
choose-
that a lot. Like if I'm going downtown, and like rush hour is gonna affect things because going downtown, like when it's not rush hour takes 25 minutes or something, but during rush hour it could be a lot longer.
Exactly. And this lets you select if you want to set the time that you arrive by, or the directions are default to leaving now, but you could also select, I want to leave at 4 o'clock. You know, so then if I selected that depart at, select my time and my date. And yeah, the directions will reflect what's happening, generally speaking, in those times. And you could also select the arrive by. I do that a lot with the bus. Like say I have to be South Euclid Community Center for 9 a.m. So I don't want to know what time I want to that leave now. I want to know what bus to catch to get there by 9 a.m. Right? So, but I wanted to show, hold on, Google Maps does not have permission to use my location. So let's, instead of the Empire State Building, let's try something a little more close to home. Because I wanted to show you all right, well, I have something obviously turned off here that I wasn't aware of, and I'm not sure what that is at this time. So I wanted to show you the feature that Art you were talking about with seeing the building. I'm gonna look into that, but let me press on for now because there's a couple other things I wanted to, well, one other thing specifically that I wanted to share. This came up in the survey. One person said that they wanted to know how to delete their history out of their maps. And if you go down to your data in maps, this screen comes up and you see I've got my home and my, shows my home and my work, but my location history is paused currently, but I can go into see and delete activity. So since my location history is off, there isn't activity to see, but if it was on, that is where you would go to delete if you wanted to do so. So come back to the main. What I really wanted to accomplish as a task today with everyone is to set up their home and or work address if people desired. So if there's anyone, so Ms. Farron, I just see you raise your hand. You're on mute.
When you put your name in here, if you were to lose your laptop, then somebody, and my laptop is open for email and stuff, somebody would have access to my address. Is that correct? I mean, what is the advantage of putting in your address ahead?
So, I mean, what you say is true. I mean, theoretically, if someone was able to access your device, then they would be able to find your address. I guess it's just for ease of use, you know, so that you can establish a starting point and have it just sort of in there.
Okay, okay.
It's one of the reasons that your computer generally you have to put in a PIN to get it started.
And that was sort of like the next place that I was, thank you, Art, was going, was that, you know, even if your computer is open, it's going to time out eventually. And they're going to have to like re-enter the password to get back in again. Certainly on a smart, like a cell phone or on a tablet, they're going to have to, you know, have the password or the PIN number to get back in. It is,
I don't care.
I don't think that you're like far off the mark, Ms. Farron. Like it does like create a vulnerability, certainly. I know, like for me, being a person who uses public transportation, and I have my preset home, when I open the app on my phone, wherever I am all over town, the first thing that pops up, my first choice is always it's home, you know, because it's like kind of assuming if I'm not at home, that might be where I want to go. So, you know, it's just easy to just be able to just tap a button and then I get the instructions. And I think even not a person who's driving in a car, like that's kind of useful information, right? You may or may not know exactly how to get back to where you want to go from where you are. And it's just that quick, like it's right there. But yeah, you could certainly not set it and then just type in the address every time. It's a few more clicks.
The more I put information into my computer, personal, the more I think I'm creating an opportunity to be hacked. I was hacked on Yahoo. I don't know how they hacked me. I left and went to Gmail. So I probably won't, and it doesn't happen. Yesterday, I needed an address for a church and all I had to do was Google the church and I knew where I was. So I'm not going to do it. I will be happy to watch. I just wanted to do a reality check if I'm more skeptical than most seniors who didn't live in this era, because I am very skeptical. So I just wondered if that's unique to me or it's common.
The other thing, sorry to jump in, but the other thing you could do is if there's a place nearby where you live that you for sure know how to get
Idea.
to, you could
Good
use
idea.
that as your starting point.
That's great. I live near Walmart and I can put Walmart in.
Mm-hmm.
That's an excellent idea. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you.
Carolyn. So I'd like to sort of take us through that setting up. So I'm going to go back into screen sharing. So we'll start at the overflow menu. Click on that. And then you're going to come down to your places. And then it's really just as simple as clicking on, well, hold on. Let me take mine away so you can see exactly your places. And I'll take that away. I want you to see exactly how it looks. So if I didn't have anything set up yet, it would set a home address, set a work address. And I click in, left click onto home, and then I get this screen where I can go ahead and type my address in. And you can see, you know, that there's the auto populate because I've been here before. It always wants to tell me that Lakeshore is spelled as 2 words on any kind of, it's kind of funny. We do it different around here. Then I click on save. And now here's my home address saved in. Same thing with work. I'll just click on it. And as we saw earlier, it's going to auto populate because I've been there before. And I'm going to save it. Does anyone have a question on how to do that? Ms. Rothman.
Actually, maybe I'm a bit ahead of everybody where you want to go, but I was curious about the saved feature where it says favorites, want to go and starred places with a little block that says privates.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, I mean, are those are just options depending on your personal circumstance? Do they all work the same way? Yeah.
Let's take a look at it. There are more places that you could save. So if I go into the overflow, first let's click on it and see. So my list is empty, but I could add a place. And then, oops, I misspelled that, but it started to know where I wanted to go.
Share it. Okay.
So Lyndhurst Community Center on Parkview Drive. And so now that's in my favorites. And I could continue to add places. If I go back, I can go to visited. And then these would be places that I would have saved.
I don't see favorites.
So when you click into saved under
Oh,
places, then it gives you favorites, want to go, and starred places.
okay, thank you.
And then, did you find it? Then if I go into my overflow menu on that right-hand side here, click into the overflow menu, I can hide it on my map. I can edit. I can share my list, or change it this way. So like, if I went this public, now I would never do that, but my content will appear publicly in Google services across the web with my profile name and photo. So
Wow.
if I wanted to like share my favorite places, I mean, I could see, I guess, why some people would do it. I don't know. There were certain, situations where someone might do it, but I'm not going to put my favorite places with my name and my picture on the internet. I'll put my home address in on my own device, but I'm not going to broadcast it all to the world here. But yeah, so there's those different levels of privacy and sharing as you desire. Is there anyone who is not able and needs some help to get their addresses in for home or work? Mel.
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey,
I'm
how's
sorry.
it going?
Good. Hi, everyone. I'm trying to figure out
Hi.
how you got that screen you have. How did you get into that screen?
So I'm working, because our class today is PC laptop, I'm working on my Chromebook, and I went to googlemaps.com.
Oh, got googlemaps.com.
Yes. So working on it on your smartphone is slightly
Googlemaps.com.
different, but it's still that overflow menu.
Yeah, I don't see it. That's what I'm saying. How did you get all that?
Let me pull it up on one right here with my phone next to me.
Green River. Ooh, Sugar Lakes. They got pictures of Geauga Lake in here. Wow.
Okay.
That's an ancient park, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it's open
Have
anymore.
pictures. Yeah, they have pictures of it. Wow. Geauga Lake.
So you were wondering how to set.
Well, you were in a particular screen. I was like, how did you get that screen? I mean, I could find my address and all that, but you had a window down and you were going into different things, and I'm like, I don't see that.
Yeah, are you working on a smartphone on it or are you on a computer?
On the phone.
Okay. And I'm like, I opened this here, but I wasn't prepared to talk about this.
Oh, okay.
Is this, let me, Okay, I figured it out.
Okay.
So at the top, when you open Google Maps, the app on your phone, tap into the search here.
Into the search where the microphone is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I see on mine, it has the labels home and work, and then it says it has ... more. So I click on more, and then it gives me a whole list, homework, and then many of my contacts come up under that.
Well, I see home, set home address, and work, set work address. That's all I see. Label. That's what I see.
So yeah, under labeled. So then click the 3 dots next to like home, and it says edit home.
Okay, there's no 3 dots. It's just set home and work, and you can set the address, but there's no dots.
Well, then click on where it says set.
I clicked on home and it says enter home address.
So enter the home address.
No, it just came right up. 3230. Okay. There you go.
And then select that.
Yep, it shows me where I am.
So, and then is it saving?
Is it saving? No. It just says, are you done? I guess, I don't know if it saved it or not though.
So if you go back and then, like if you go back to the main screen and then come back to search, click and search, when it under the home setting, does it come up with your address?
Yeah, search is here, and in region search is at the bottom.
This
Yep,
is
the address, first one. It's not in the box, but it's down at the bottom. All the recent stuff that I searched for is at the bottom.
This is tomorrow's class, if I
Oh.
may say. I truly am not ready to instruct you on how to find it beyond what I just tried to do because I'm set up for the computer today. I have to be
Okay,
honest.
don't worry about it then. I mean, I just wondering how you got into that screen with the map and all that on it.
So that's all from going on a browser tab to googlemaps.com.
Okay.
Yes.
So you
Is
went like,
there anyone else who needs support to try to set the address on their browser screen?
I need support on how to get to the browser screen for the app. I have that on my phone, but I don't have it on my computer.
So on your computer,
Yeah.
go open up Chrome.
Okay.
And go to google.com/maps.
Okay. Okay, and then what?
So press enter, and you
Okay.
see a map now on the screen.
No. It's google.com and then what?
/maps.
Do I put a dot there or just maps?
/
Okay, I got it, I think. Google Maps.
Click on that.
Okay. Now it shows me a map.
And it shows you a map like of where you are.
I don't think so. I don't know what the map is about. Oh, the map is for someplace I went before.
Oh, okay.
All right, now I have me. In fact, I have my house.
Okay. So do you want me to put the screen up again to show you, or do you want me to tell you?
You can just tell me, how do I get that,
Sure.
the sides where you have everything going down?
So yes, in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, there should, in the map part still, there's sort of a little bubble that says search
Oh.
Google Maps. And
Okay, I
there's
have a menu, right?
the overflow menu, that's correct.
Okay, I've got that.
And then go down to your places.
Okay. All right, and then I have two things that aren't
And
right
then it
place.
has home and work. And you could save more places in your favorites, but those would be your like main presets.
How do I change them?
So just
See.
just click on home. And then it should come up with another little sort of pop-up that gives you a little line to enter in your home address on.
I just deleted it. Home. Okay, now I do home, and then I put. Will it stay there, or do I have to
Once
do
you're
something
finished entering the address in, just click enter.
else? Okay. All right, and then it says choose a starting point, or click on.
Oh, you're in directions, it sounds like.
Probably, I don't know. It says your location. Yeah, I guess
Let
so.
me show you one more time.
Okay, my screen is big right now though, so how do I get it to go down?
Oh, yeah. You could just minimize the zoom.
Well, now I just exited.
You want to
so
bring
I
the
have
zoom up. So along the bottom of your screen, there should be a row of different icons, and one of them should be the Zoom one. It's a blue circle with a white video camera in it.
Yeah, I have that.
Click on that and it should bring the Zoom screen back up.
Well, you're here in a very small area. Yes.
Okay, so move your cursor over that little box where I am.
Okay.
And then do you see a little sort of green arrow?
In a circle?
Mm-hmm. Click
Yeah.
on that.
Okay, now you're back.
Yep. So I'll share with you the screen of how to, where to look to put the home address in. And I'm going to go back. So this is the just main screen when you open up Google Maps. And I'm going to click on the overflow menu.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go down to your places. And then it comes home and work.
Okay.
And if I didn't have this entered here, we'll take it away. It will just look like this. And it would say set home address, set work address. So then I click on it.
Okay, I see now.
And it gives me the little box to type my address in again.
Okay.
You want to see if you can you try it?
Right, I'll try it. See if it works. Now I just, where's my Google? I have to call up Google. And do,
So in that upper left-hand corner, the overflow menu.
let me get the, I just have the Google up here right now.
Well, you'd have to go into Google Maps.
All right, here I am. All right. I'm in, when I go into Google Maps, it says satellitemaps.com. Google Maps, Google, get to Google Maps, road maps and directions. I don't understand. What am I doing wrong?
Well, I wish I could see your screen. So
I'll just have to, now on my phone, Well, the only thing there, that really won't help much. I can go into the Google. I have Google and then I have maps on my phone, but that's not like what you're teaching me, so. Well, I'll just have to practice it. I see. You have your directions here. I'll try and work it out. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm not very good at this.
Well, you know, we have a challenging set of circumstances trying to do this over Zoom without being able to see, like without me being able to see your screen. So come May, when we are opening up with the one-on-one sessions, I would be thrilled to have you come in and work with you that way. So I hope that if you are
That'll be terrific. I don't want to take any more of your time, but I'll plan on doing that. Thank you.
that would be lovely. So if you're interested, again, and if anyone hasn't heard that announcement, we are going to open up doing one-on-one sessions in May. I've been fully vaccinated and it'll be 2 weeks this Sunday. And so I see that we have something in the ways.
Oh, that's wonderful, Ways. I have a question.
I'm not
Oh, I'll let-
familiar, but go ahead, Ms. Abazio.
Oh, just real quick. I don't have Chrome, but I can get it with my Microsoft Edge. It looks like that's still the same. I don't work off of Chrome. So I just tried it. Looks like Microsoft Edge has given that to me too, whatever you did. So that's okay, right? Or is Chrome better? Should I switch to Chrome? I don't know. The Geek Squad told me to go from Chrome to Microsoft Edge.
Well, it's somewhat a matter of personal preference, although I have read that the browser that was made for your device is the one that will work the best with your device.
Okay.
So if your operating system is Windows, then Edge is your best browser.
Okay. Okay,
For the
good.
purposes of our class, for trying to have some ease of instruction, and so that everyone would be working on the same platform, we elected to operate out of Google.
Okay.
Google can work on any of the types of devices, but yeah, if you have an Apple product, Safari is your best browser to use, truthfully.
Mm-hmm.
For the purposes of this class, just trying to, so everyone can be more so on the same page, because everyone's got a different type of device, we elected to use Google as our format.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
But Edge, but you can go to Google Maps by opening Edge.
I did.
Okay.
I did open Google. I went there. Yeah.
And then this Waze, I'm just pulling up I've just seen people saying, you know, which is better? Is Waze better than Google? If driving is all you're doing, Waze is the best option. That's Waze, W-A-Z-E. Google Maps and Apple Maps will do just fine, but Waze is a cut above for driving to a new place. This is according to PC Mag. There's definitely different options. I'll be very interested to check out Waze, although I get a little bit stuck in my rut. I like what I like and I like what I know.
Well, Waze is very popular with people who drive a lot because there's a reporting feature with it. And I think if there are traffic jams or radar set up, people can report it. And if you're driving and using that as your guide, you can get information that can save you time and money. I think that's one of the reasons Waze is so popular.
Good to
I use
know.
Waze a lot. I use it like right now, my Scout is down in my car, so I can't use it. And I have found using Waze has been very, very helpful,
Yeah,
getting me where I want to go.
yeah. The Garmin, by the way, doesn't do the, will show you if there's a traffic accident and the approximate wait time, but it won't tell you if there's a radar, a speed trap set up. You're on your own with that, and you
Yeah.
should be.
Well,
So tomorrow we're going to do these features on the phone because I'm totally lost trying to even find my home, putting my home on Google Maps, but don't waste any time. We'll do that tomorrow.
yeah, tomorrow we'll be looking at Google Maps on the phone, as well as practicing sharing content. So I hope that we'll be able to do both of those things within the hour. But those are the two places or two things that we're going to kind of look at tomorrow. But yes,